Welcome to the Southwestern podcast. We have a very special guest, at least a guest dear and near to our hearts, Mr. Connor O'Donohue. He is the one that runs our Texas office. And, he's also sales expert for many years. He's extremely knowledgeable, and I thought it would be awesome to bring him on the podcast because he is literally a big Irish pot of knowledge, right? Instead of gold, it's knowledge. Connor, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this industry?
Pretty much was going to school, and from that point, I just kind of got offered a sales job at a young age. I was probably about 21. Ended up stepping out and going directly into that. It was probably one of my better decisions. A lot of people like to stick to school and do that, that route. And I ended up being more better of a relationship person. So from there, it went over to, stepping into sales, getting that step done first and learning that. And it doesn't come with just your first one. You got to take several things. You learn a lot, and I think you're always kind of learning that. And eventually I stepped away from that business. I was in the automotive industry, and I was working under the finance and consultation side of things, and went ahead and stepped away from that after meeting our great mentor, which would be your father.
Yeah, and Mr. Giannis Sr.
Mr. Giannis Sr. is correct. And, he kind of came to our wedding, and from there we kind of hit it off. I think about 7-8 months later, we had another conversation about what we should do, and he was looking to expand in the Texas area. He, visited Texas where we got married. He was just like, let's look at an opportunity. And I thought that based on what I did prior, this was a great step over because it was really not changing the entire process, right? I think the base of the insurance industry and pretty much all of sales is also just based on relationships and knowledge, right? If you can put good relationships together with your knowledge, you should be able to help a lot of people. And that's kind of what we're in the business for.
And you yourself, you're a very knowledgeable person. I think the thing that makes you very unique, like in the way that you communicate with your clients, is that you're very informative of the process. Yeah. So a lot of people, they will just give you a quote and they'll say, well, here's the number. You send them their information and it takes 2 weeks to get your number back, and you don't hear from them within those 2 weeks to get a price, right? And Connor's the type of person, from what I've seen, is that he'll explain to you the process, right? He'll explain to you, hey, this is the step that we're at. We're at this step because of X, Y, Z. And I believe that if you provide this information, or if you change this in your, in your business, or if you provide, this extra information on the side, we can get you a better rate, right? Yep. And you really go into those details. I think as a consumer, if I'm dealing with somebody that's very informative and talking me through the process and going above and beyond with the extra detail on why am I getting this price? Is there a way that I can get a better price? That makes me feel more comfortable, right? Yeah. I mean, I've seen you take that approach on so many people. Even, I think it was yesterday when we were having lunch, there was a gentleman, what he wanted to do was just cancel his account. But you have the best interest for the insured. And a lot of people in this industry, they may not have the best interest for you. If you're shopping around for insurance, they want to make the quick buck. We are not built on that. And I even had a conversation with a truck driver today, like, hey man, like if I screw you over, if I wait to the last minute to give you a quote and then I give you a super high price because I boxed you in and you have no other option, how are you going to refer more clients to me, right?
I mean, I tell all my clients it's simple, right? They'll get to the renewal process, and we all know that, especially this time of the year, right? A lot of people are kind of concerned with when the renewals are coming out. But what kind of starts is obviously November gets a little tied up with underwriting. They're going to start looking at things as, hey, we need to handle the people prior to. And sometimes the underwriting team has to help the binding team in order to make sure that we don't fall behind. And they'll start having their underwriting team start helping their binding team to make sure they don't fall into a situation where they're backed up and binding on time, because those time frames matter. And most people are going to have, they're putting the money together, they're taking a couple of days to put that. And so when we start getting into this time period, they're like, hey, where's my renewal? But unfortunately that, binding team's been helping in other areas, right? And also the underwriting team's been helping them. So they take a little bit more time to, release those renewals. And I have to explain to them like, hey, I'm not trying to back you in a corner. I literally always tell them, as soon as I get my best offer and I know I'm at the bottom line, usually 2-3 weeks in advance. At the 30-day mark, we know the clock starts ticking because that's when they're going to release a quote because they only last 30 days. But I'm not here to say, hey, look, I'm going to back you in a corner and tell you the price has gone up. I will deliver your loss runs with my best possible quote, because if I'm not confident in it, why would I not give you the loss runs? Number one. And secondly is if you'd leave me this time, maybe I'd get you the next year. It's not about burning that bridge or anything like that. It's really about just having an opportunity to quote their account and give them the best possible numbers. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's also touch base with that guy that was, trying to make that transition. The biggest thing is they see a process that they can take in order to get it done, but maybe they don't see the best possible process because of the things that we do in the background, right? There's an opportunity for me to say, hey, look, when these underwriters go get your file, there's going to be tons of questions that you're not really going to understand why they're asking, but you're going to be kind of giving them the answers very deliberately, which is what you're supposed to do. There's no reason to kind of twist anything. But the difference is when it comes from somebody like me, who's your agent, who can say, hey, look, this is how we were set up initially. We're trying to separate the way things are operating now because some owner operators no longer want to be a part of his business, and they were the only part that were really doing autos. That's what they specialize. Now he's kind of just, his business and operations have molded into a situation where he's just going to be doing dry freight, and we're set up on an auto hauler policy. They're allowing him to do both, but we both know that policy is underwritten as a auto hauler that is allowed to do dry freight. Just because you pull off dry freight doesn't mean this price is going down. So we have to redo that entire policy. But if he goes out there and tries to do that himself and really tries to shop the account with a bunch of agents, it's going to look like there was an issue per se. There's going to be a red flag associated with it. And if he lets me handle it and kind of say, look, this is the process, and I mean, the numbers are going to go down. It's going to go from an auto hauler to dry freight. That is just a change of operation that's going to lower costs naturally. As long as there's no claims and there's not bad driving records, we're going to make sure that we get the best possible price in the market because we have that market access.
Yeah, and remember also it takes 60 to 90 days for the insurance company to return any money that was not used. So if he were to do the process the way that he wanted to do it, he would have been on the hook for 60 to 90 days during that change, not getting any of that money back, having to come up with another down payment. The way that you presented it to him, it solves his problem, and he doesn't have to come out of pocket that much, right? And then on top of that, a huge thing in the trucking industry is cash flow. Without cash flow, it's hard to pay for new tires and fuel and all the things that
scheduled maintenance. Yeah,
I mean, it's just, again, this is a very cash flow oriented business, and then you have to pay for your family stuff, right? Like everybody has a family at home. And then let's touch again on the renewals. So I know that you also have an approach which is, I believe, is great. A lot of people think that shopping around helps you, right? That shopping around helps you. And the thing about shopping around is, yes, you have, a lot more people working on your account, but it could also hurt you.
100%.
The good thing about working with Southwestern is that we've been around for 40 years. We have almost, if not every single trucking insurance company that's a top player.
If we've chosen not to have the company, it's because we already are confidently knowing that we have a direct competitor that is beating them day in and day out.
Bro, 40 years, we've been doing this for a long time. I mean, the markets that we have are extremely solid. Some of them only appoint agents like us because of the experience, because there's so many people out there that are in there for in this business for the short run, and they don't want to do business with people in here for the short run because the premium is so expensive and they get paid, pretty decent. And especially if they misrate your account, they go the biggest thing is misrating on the portals. I'm not saying Progressive, Geico, Berkshire Hathaway specifically, but a platform like that where they can manipulate the information. You give them a down payment, you have a 25% minimum earned, which means no matter when you cancel, you owe at least 25% of the premium. You think that you have a fantastic deal. They're like, hey, look, I'm gonna do a favor for you. I'm gonna do this here for you, and it may or may not go up in a couple of months, but at least you might get lucky, and this is the price you're paying. When they say may or may not, I've seen it 100% of the time.
Within the first 3 months, it's gonna have a review.
These carriers really do underwriting after the fact. And what happens? You get a 60, 70, even 80% increase in your premium. They already made their money. You have a minimum earn, so they're gonna keep a portion of whatever it is that they sold 25%. You. And they screwed you. And then now you have to call us back and do it the right way with less money in your pocket.
Cash flow issue occurs. Your overall, the term we say is red flags, but it's what we, determine as reviewing a file and seeing things that just raise questions, right? Less questions means things are clean, things look good. If there's less questions, there's less troubles usually. But when you have a change all of a sudden and you see a filing that says, hey, we started it January 1st, and then all of a sudden halfway through February, we had a pending cancellation. Now in the middle of March, we're going to start seeing that this person needs to find new insurance. The first thing somebody's going to say is, hey, what happened here? So not only do you get a cash flow issue, you also turn it into a situation where your renewal process is now going to have a lot more questions. And then in return, if you don't have an agent that that person left and you don't know what that other agent did, and you're going back to somebody you worked with in the past, they're going to ask those same questions because they want to make sure they have an explanation for the next person. So it turns into a snowball effect, and that's where trust in your agent, like you said, we at Southwestern have a lot of experience. We've been doing it for 40 years, but we have also had the opportunity to work with a lot of the markets. Mm-hmm. So just because we have a market and we say we don't choose to work with a market is pretty much based on experience, maybe by three basic things: how quickly they work, how good they are with their claims, and more importantly, their financial rating. We review all that stuff on an annual basis just to ensure that we're keeping our book of who we have available in markets to be the strongest possible entity for our clients, because when it's all said and done, that book of business is what keeps us thriving, right? And so we want to make sure that our clients have access to all those. And then when you start trying to, shop around with a bunch of other agents all at once, you're going to realize there's a lot of overlap between that. And when somebody shops really hard, all these companies see that and they're going to wonder, man, I wonder what's going on, because usually, once again, another red flag comes up. Why are they shopping so hard? Mm-hmm. Is the pricing the issue? Was there a claim that was the issue? So a lot of people want to dig deep and make sure that they have every bit of data to make a decision on your pricing, because you're looking really, really hard. Sometimes you need to have trust and have faith in the agent with the most efficient and best markets. You don't need to have every single market. We are very blessed to say that we have enough business to spread around.
Say we have almost all. And I also want to jump in and say there are some markets, they don't care why you're doing a midterm move. They don't even accept midterm moves. And sometimes those are the most competitive markets. Those are the best ones. Those are the ones with the best rates. Yep. But there's so many problems and issues related to people doing a midterm move that they've decided in their underwriting guidelines that, if it's a midterm move, we don't want to do it.
Yeah, and I think that comes from a perspective, once again, I'm going to use the key word, the red flag. You put a red flag up on your account when nobody does midterm switches for fun. Why would you want to cause yourself to do 2 renewals a year? We understand that we are, your insurance is a major expense for your business. To have to analyze that more than once a year is a really, really stressful thing. And we try to make that as easy as possible, because things do happen. But that's when it comes having Southwestern Insurance in your corner, helping you walk through that process. Like I said, with that client we mentioned earlier, and we were at lunch. I answer those calls. It's just not, I don't feel the need to blow that off. If I'm in the middle of a conversation with one of our carriers and we're having a lunch and we're discussing some business, obviously we will take the time to schedule that phone call. But it was just me and you grabbing lunch in the middle of the day. We're going to answer the phone calls, and you're the same way. You understand how it works. I'm going to let you answer your phone calls, do what you need to do, because we are here for our clients. We want to make sure that they have the best possible service. And I wish we could deliver everything instantly, right? I think it's kind of funny. We say it's not like ordering a pizza, right? Yeah. Can't just get into it and say, hey guys, I have all the information you need. Here's everything you got. There's a lot of things that we do in the background, not only through our relationships that we have with our carriers, but also through maybe showing them, hey, this is what we have in offer. Some companies are really sought after to give them, insurance companies don't make money unless they sell insurance, correct, right? So some of them are more aggressive than others when somebody has a very, very good background, right? Mm-hmm. Good safety scores, clean MVRs. They have a great set of claims that's all zeroed out, clean loss run sheets. Some companies are going to be a little bit more, aggressive to say, hey, look, we want this account. If something comes up better than us, please let us know. Yeah. Well, we're going to make that phone call in the nicest way to say, hey, look, somebody came in a little slightly more aggressive. If you guys want the opportunity, here's where we're at, right? Yeah. And that's a great problem to have, right? But that does take time. We're not just going to start sending everybody's quotes out and have people fighting over it. We're going to make a decision on your behalf based on basic things, right? How quickly do they get their endorsement signs? How fast are we able to deliver your questions and your answers if something comes very specific to the policy? We don't just review the policy. We like to double check and triple check. Hey, got it in writing. Hey, this is how it works. And we have verification from the carrier to make sure that we're all on the same page. Those little things will matter, but we want to help every one of our clients get to that position where they have multiple people coming saying, we would like this account. They have great loss runs, great driving record, and they have an overall very strong business.
So I'm going to share a quick story with you related to everything that you're saying. Sometimes we have to boil it down and explain it in a different way, right? So I had a client that I insured for a long time. He was a really good friend of mine, and he was a huge Miami Dolphins fan, right? Yeah. and he
Very popular around here.
yeah, so he could not understand why his friend was paying less money on his insurance than he was. And I broke it down in a sort of sports betting scenario. So I said, the insurance companies, look at it, they are betting on your company. They are betting on your team.
Yeah.
Right now, your team, your trucking company has Tua Tagovailoa as a quarterback. You guys are the Dolphins, and your friend is most likely either Patriots or the Bills, right? And he said, okay, well, that makes sense. I'm like, they want to bet on the Patriots and the Bills, right? Because they have a proven track record of winning.
Yeah.
The Dolphins do not have that proven track record of winning. You have a lot of out-of-service violations. You have poor vehicle maintenance scores, and you are a fantastic guy. And I told him, like, I love you. You're my friend, but the insurance companies, they don't want to put their money on the losing team. They want to put their money on the winning team. And if they're going to put their money on the losing team, they're going to charge you a little bit more just to make sure that they don't completely get burned, right? Yeah. When I gave him that analogy, he's like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. That being said, safety is a huge parameter on getting your scores. Loss runs are a huge parameter on getting a really good price. MVRs, that you have a clean driving record. What I really want to mention is we can help guide you through the process and really break down your account. And let's say you do have safety score issues. Southwestern has a safety monitoring program that's accepted almost every single insurance company as proof that you're working on your safety to improve. So for those that don't know, we have an automated system that if you do insurance with us, it will send you a bi-weekly report on how you're improving or how you're getting worse. And it also makes recommendations on when you get a bad violation, how to improve on that violation. And I know my truck drivers, every time that they're at a stop or anytime they get an opportunity, they're going to be on their phone. They're going to get that email from us and they say, oh, wow, you know what?
I think it's every 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Every 4 hours, if even an inspection comes up or anything, it'll run you'll get a bi-weekly report, but even if something pops up, it's able to tell you, hey,
in
look.
4 hours, So like you'll and then it'll give you immediate advice on how to improve.
Yep.
So all you have to do is utilize the tools that we give you, and this is free of cost. Like, we don't charge anybody for this. This is all it comes with is being a Southwestern customer. So you can have a $1,000 policy or a $5 million policy. You're gonna have access to the same safety system, and this will help you improve on your safety scores. And we also include this if we're doing a renewal in our marketing. When we market out the account, we say, hey, you know, they're with the Southwestern safety program, Southwestern safety monitoring program, and we could show data of them improving, or if they're not doing good, we have at least information that the insured can read on how to improve. Second thing is loss runs. Let's say you had a big accident. You know, God forbid, knock on wood, you killed someone in your truck tractor. That's an automatic $1 million loss.
Yep.
You've been in business for 5 years and that's the only thing that's ever happened to you. A lot of people will say, like, I'm screwed. No insurance company's ever gonna, insure me ever again. That's not true. Because insurance is meant for that moment where there's an accident that you could not prevent and tragedy happens. And they take care of everything, which is why you get to sleep good at night knowing that when you're on the road, you're gonna be covered. Don't worry about having one big accident that blew you out of the water. Worry about having multiple accidents throughout the years, back to back to back to back. That's what insurance companies care about more, because if you have a lot of small little accidents, it means the big one is yet to come, right?
Exactly.
But if you have one big accident, it's very rare that you're gonna have another big accident in the near future, because literally, I mean, for a truck tractor to harm someone or injure someone, like actually, not with the attorneys that make any little thing an injury, but like a full-blown policy limit claim is actually rare.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that.
The insurance companies invest a lot of time and money, and so do we invest a lot of money into reports and things such as, looking at your actual data, because it's our job to not only understand your business's ins and outs, but it's also us to explain it to the insurance carriers, because we know what they're going to look at, right? And we go out of our way to pay for that. We invest a lot of money in research and development, not purely to how we can be better and what we can do, but also to understand what's going on in the markets. If we take the opportunity to do that, it allows us to see trends, right? And we have expectations from an insurance carrier standpoint, right? They want to work with us because we do those things, right? And that's what makes us a little bit, I would say puts us top shelf, right? Because we want to have that opportunity to really say that we understand our clients, and there are a lot of trends, right? These insurance companies pay for a lot to reiterate what you're saying. Somebody who has 4 claims over the past 4 years and they're all under $15,000, that's a very, very large question mark. They're going to say, what's the next one though? Like, how much is that going to be? What's that going to cost? Because unfortunately, that says that in the 5th year, it should be bigger every time, unfortunately. And that's just because things need to be taken into effect on how we operate on a daily basis, and that's why we provide that safety program so that people can be reminded and have an understanding, okay, look, let me sit back and make sure I do these basic things. So it's really not difficult, right? It's just, having discipline with the everyday items, and that's really going to help you. It's the basic things that you do every day that's going to really make you have the best possible habits and to have the best possible, MVR reports, loss runs. It's not, when we bring all these things up and make them a very, very large point, right, that all these people are looking at them, right? But it's really the basics and the little things that you do every single day that's going to keep those from happening and having those major issues. Like you said, accidents happen, a big thing can happen. It could be out of your control. There could be other factors that are included. It could be weather conditions. There's so many things that go into that. And that's why you have insurance. But you also have to remember that all the other little things that you did throughout that time period are going to be noticed, because it's going to create a very, very good track record for you. And when you have that one issue, it's not going to be the make or break for the company.
No, for sure. And then again, we're going to guide you through that process. We've seen all types of accounts. We can even get a competitive quote for somebody with an open container, right? And somebody would say like, oh, an open container, that's huge.
Yeah.
There are companies, they'll say, okay, an open container, we could do it, at a decent price where this guy can stay in business, keep running until eventually that'll come off his record. The one that's a little bit harder would be the DUI, but even in that case, we can still get you a quote and get you on the road.
If it was last week, right, there's some cool off period, because there's probably some more legal things that you're probably going to have to handle before that. But if you said a year later, I've had a clean track record, I've followed all the programs that are required of me, and I'm ready to get back in action, and I've made the right life choices since that moment, we have all the solutions for that. That's not going to be something where it's the end all be all. I don't think insurance is an end all be all thing unless it's multiple situations where habits are not changing. People who are having issues, who make the right adjustments, who make changes, are going to be the people who benefit the most from, working with us, because we're going to be able to show that based on all the reports we pull and everything. And we're going to show, hey, look, these are the things that change. This is what's helping our clients in the future. So, and we're going to keep doing those reminders, the safety program.
And I think I also want to mention that transparency is a huge thing with us. Like, be transparent with us. Tell us exactly what's going on and we can help you. So some people get scared, like, man, I have this on my driving record, or I have a driver that had this happen to them, or whatever. If you tell us about it, we can prepare the account and present it in a way that is understandable, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to that open container. You may have had a bottle at your house that was super nice. You opened it.
Yeah.
You drank a little bit. You gave it to me and said, hey, and I drank some of this. I think you'll like it. Take it home with you.
Yeah.
I'm driving home. I haven't had any alcohol. I get pulled over. The cop sees there's an open liquor in my car. And I say, officer, I haven't been drinking.
Yeah.
That officer's having a bad day. He gives me an open container charge, right? And with those type of details, with that type of story, with a police report that really goes over everything that's happening, we can solve your problem.
They're going to say that you weren't drinking. They're going to say that you just had an open container. And with your explanation, those details add 1 + 1 = 2. There's not going to be a lot of variable factors there that they're going to say, oh, are you sure? No, there's a police report that backs up the idea that, hey, look, they let him drive home. They wrote him a ticket for it. There's an open container. There's an issue there. So
So again, transparency is super huge with us. We really want to help you. And when I say like the truth will set you free, like it will really set you free.
Yeah.
Thank you, Connor, for coming on the show with us. We're happy to have you in town. Guys, remember, we are having a giveaway for a Caribbean trip. All you have to do is...
Nice little tropical vacation.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to our website, and we're going to leave the link in the description. Like, subscribe, go on our website, put in your DOT number, put in your name. We're not going to harass you for anything other than we just want to put you in this raffle. You guys are hardworking. You deserve a break. Southwestern wants to pay for this break for you guys. And again, if you want to reach out, more details, send us a DM, and we'd love to host you on a Caribbean trip. So.
Just want to, we do ask for a valid DOT because we want to make sure it goes to the people that take care of us. We take care of you guys, you take care of us. It's a great relationship, and we want to make sure that we give something back, and just to say thank you to you guys.
All right, guys. Next time. Peace out.